The Castro Love Letters, a forbidden romance that changed lives. The Boy Who Walked Market Street. San Francisco, 1974. The fog moved through the Mission like a living creature, slinking low over sidewalks, brushing past lampposts, swallowing buildings block by block. In the late afternoon, the sun was already sinking, leaving only a faint shimmer of gold across the rooftops. Most people hurried through the chill, collars up, heads down. But Michael Carroway, pharmacist at the corner drugstore on Market Street, walked slowly, deliberately, as if the cold air helped him think. He was 24, blond in a way that made him look younger, but with a quiet seriousness behind his blue eyes that made people trust him. Every evening around 5:45, he walked the same route home, passing an old brick wall on Market Street where a man painted murals. And every evening he saw him, a man with dark hair, sun-touched skin, and an intensity that seemed to radiate straight from the brush in his hand. His name, though Michael didn't learn it until weeks later, was Daniel Flores, a Mexican-American artist in his late 20s who painted like he was repairing the world one color at a time. Michael walked by slowly, watching the mural without being obvious, or at least trying not to be obvious. But the man always noticed. He didn't turn, didn't speak, but something in his posture shifted, like he felt the gaze on his back. One evening, a gust of wind blew paper across the sidewalk. Daniel chased the sheet down and nearly collided with Michael. "Oh, sorry," Michael said quickly, stepping back. Daniel stopped, holding the page. Up close, he had warm, deep-set eyes and paint smudged on his jaw. "No problem," Daniel said, offering a small smile. "The wind here, she has a mind of her own." Michael wasn't sure how to respond to that. The sentence hung between them like a delicate thread. Daniel returned to the wall. Michael took a few more steps, then paused. There was something magnetic about the man, something he wanted to understand but didn't know how to approach. Maybe tomorrow, he thought. Maybe tomorrow I'll say something. He didn't. Not for 3 more weeks. The note. Michael was not inexperienced in hiding. He had grown up in Minnesota, in a small, ice-covered town where boys who looked at other boys learned to fold their feelings into sharp, invisible corners. San Francisco was supposed to be freedom, but freedom didn't come instantly. It came slowly, like a thaw. So each day he passed the mural, slowed down, admired the art and the artist, then walked away without a word. It became a ritual, a quiet, fragile connection he wasn't brave enough to break. Until the day Daniel looked over his shoulder and caught him watching. Their eyes met. Michael froze. Daniel didn't look annoyed or confused, just curious, maybe even amused. Michael felt his face heating. He turned quickly, almost jogging down the street, his heart hammered with embarrassment. That night, he couldn't sleep. The next evening, he did something he never expected himself to do. He wrote a note. Nothing dramatic, nothing risky, just a line. "If you ever want someone to talk to while you paint, I walk by every evening." He folded it twice. The paper shook slightly in his hand. When he reached the mural the next evening, Daniel wasn't looking his way. His focus buried in color and texture. He hesitated, then gently slipped the note onto the small stool beside Daniel's paint bottles. He didn't wait. He walked away before Daniel saw him. His heart raced the entire night. The first conversation. The next day, Michael almost didn't take his usual route home. What if Daniel hated the note? What if he laughed? What if he said something cruel? His mind spiraled through every possible humiliation until he decided it was safer to walk the long way home. But fate, or San Francisco traffic, had other plans. A street blockage forced pedestrians through Market Street, funneling him directly toward the mural. Michael swallowed hard as he approached. Daniel wasn't painting. He was waiting, sitting on the stool, note in hand. When Michael came near, Daniel stood, not angrily, but slowly, deliberately. "You forgot something," Daniel said. Michael's stomach dropped. "Oh, I didn't, I wasn't sure you saw it." "I saw it," Daniel said, his voice even. A long silence stretched out between them. Then Daniel smiled. "I was wondering how long it would take you to talk to me." Michael blinked. You noticed?" Daniel laughed softly. "You walk like someone trying not to stare." Michael felt his face go red. I didn't want to bother." "You didn't," Daniel said. "I liked it." The world tilted slightly, in a way that was both dizzying and wonderful. Daniel stepped aside, gesturing to the wall. "Come here, I want to show you something." Michael moved closer. The mural was huge, not chaotic, but with a lot of motion. A swirl of city buildings, faces and birds rising toward the sun. It felt alive. "What do you see?" Daniel asked. Michael took a moment. "Hope," he said quietly. Daniel looked at him surprised, then nodded. "Good. That's what I want people to see." They talked for an hour. About art, about San Francisco's neighborhoods, and about where they'd come from. Daniel's voice held warmth and fire. Michael found himself smiling more than he had in months. Then Daniel said, "I'd like to keep talking." Michael's breath caught. "Me too." "Walk with me tomorrow?" Daniel asked. Michael nodded. "Yes, I'd like that." As he walked away, he looked back. Daniel was still watching him, this time without looking away. Closely held secrets. They walked the next day, and the next, and the next. Always after 6, when Daniel cleaned his brushes and put away his paints. They walked down Market Street, past the Castro Theater's neon lights, past cafes filled with laughter, side by side, sometimes close enough that their arms brushed. They never talked about what it meant. They didn't have to. The warmth between them grew each evening like a rising tide. But both men carried things they didn't say. Michael struggled with fear, the kind carved into him from childhood sermons and small-town judgment. He kept his feelings subtle, careful, like they might be noticed by the wrong pair of eyes. But Daniel lived louder. He had grown up in the Mission, raised in a loud Mexican household full of music, food, and expectation. His father wanted him to pursue construction, something practical, something manly. Becoming a muralist was rebellion enough. Loving a man was rebellion stacked on rebellion. But Daniel didn't hide as deeply as Michael did. He walked through the Castro like someone who knew himself. But still, he didn't tell his family. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But he told Michael things. He told him about art and fear, and the friends he'd lost early, friends who'd escaped one prison before stepping into a different one made of stigma and violence. And Michael listened, absorbing it all. One night, as fog rolled between them, Daniel said, "People think coming here makes everything easy. It doesn't, but it makes it possible." Michael nodded, understanding more than he could say. Then Daniel asked softly, "Are you scared of people seeing us together?" Michael hesitated. "Sometimes." Daniel didn't judge him. He just nodded. "We go at your pace," he said. For Michael, those words meant everything.